The stagehands look really in disarray. I mean, the RNC had a great feeling to it, and I've been to others that didn't, but they weren't still anything near the just watching it from afar. My crew's there, and they say they pick it up on the street, that it is just like a civil war going on within it, and just a feeling of dirtiness.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, just look at this recent email scandal. I mean, the Democrats have been trying to rig their own election, and they're supposed to be a party that carries the name Democratic. The other thing is, it's funny to listen to the way the Democrats talk in private. We show in the movie and in the book that the Democratic Party is the party of bigotry. This is the party that has, far from being the party of minorities, they have been the enslaver, the segregator, the tormentor, the lyncher, the hanger of minority groups and immigrants. And so it's wonderful to see the lifting of the curtain, because now you can see the way they actually think, the way they talk in private. So they put on a big show in Philadelphia, but in private they talk about Hispanics. That's the Taco Bell initiative. They make fun of gays. They want to ridicule Bernie Sanders for his religion. These are very despicable people, but they camouflage and put on this big halo of social justice.
And by the way, I mean, your film exposes all this. Your film exposes all this, obviously, because I've read the reviews. But this is what I experienced growing up. My dad was a Reagan guy. My mom was more of a Democrat, but she liked Reagan. She was like an old-fashioned Democrat. But, I mean, I grew up where we didn't have a bunch of guilt, but we knew people done bad things in this country, and we wanted to build everybody up. And so, it was really bad to be racist, because that's what scum did, because they wanted to feel better about somebody. And being around Republicans in my life, they actually are, like, guilty and really wanting to lift people up on average. I never heard anything racist out of Republicans, not, inside the halls of Congress when I visited, or at events or anywhere, or Pat Buchanan events, whatever. But, man, let me tell you, I've been around Democrats my whole life living in the South, and, man, they are, and even the black Democrats are like managers of the blacks and will say horrible things about black people, like you're in the club with them, and like they're the Uncle Tom, and you're like totally freaked out. And then I mean, I'll say, I don't want to abort all the black people. Nobody wants them scum and trash. I mean, it's just like the Democratic Party, I guess, always ran the plantations and everything, and they never really stopped. They just got more sophisticated. Sorry, Dinesh.
Yeah, no, they're running urban plantations right now that are very similar in many ways to the old rural plantations. I sneaked my way into the Democratic Convention, and I sat down in a corner right near the floor, and I watched all these people walking around, and I just tried to get their vibe. And the vibe I got out of them is that these are the overlords of the new liberal plantation. They walk around like they are overseers, managers, plantation owners.
Very arrogant.
They talk about the people who are dependent on them as if, in a sense, all they care about these people is their votes. Just like in the old days, all that the plantation owners want is to steal the labor of the slaves. All the Democrats today, the new plantation owners, all they care about, as long as we get these people to vote for us, that's it. That's all we care about.
And then they can point out a few Republican things. There's, obviously Republicans aren't perfect in history. They've done a lot of corruption. And then create this cosmology of race like they've done with the police, when statistically it's non-existent.
Yeah, the police are charged with the impossible job of keeping the lid on the liberal plantation. Now think about what it's like to live in those places where there's basically, everyone has a meager provision. They give you food and health care, just like on the old slave plantation.
The men aren't allowed in the house.
No opportunity, no hope, nihilism, despair. So the liberal plantation is kind of boiling over, and some of our these shootings and stuff come out of that.
Exactly. So the left knows they've double black employment, all this to make them more dependent, and then they're just blaming the enforcers that they have there trying to keep the lid on it. That's why. That's why I have some issues with the police, obviously, and I want to reform some of the problems. But it's a total scapegoat to just randomly attack people in blue and just say they're the problems in America.
And whatever the problems we have, I mean, the very idea that Bill and Hillary, this kind of Bonnie and Clyde operation that's in it for themselves, that doesn't care about domestic policy, nor do they care about foreign policy. They're just like brokers who want to collect 10%, and that's all they care about. And so the idea that they can fix problems is just ludicrous. Now, we've had crooks in American politics before, but we didn't know they were crooks in advance. With Hillary, the Democrats know, and they've still put her forward. And I think that actually is a referendum on the character of this party that would advance a known crook as their standard bearer for the White House. That is exactly
what I've been saying, independent of you, because it's prima facie, it's just truth. So what does that say I mean, either they end up winning the world. I don't think they're going to back off now. If they get in, they're going to go for everything. They're not going to stop. Clearly, we've got to defeat them now, or even if she gets in, we have to stop her because this nation's never faced more peril with naked election stealing, naked primary stealing, naked stealing from the Sanders voters. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, I think ultimately we don't want, a gangster running America. We don't. This is sort of like Al Capone in the White House. Now, when Al Capone was virtually running Chicago, he wanted full access to the Treasury. He wanted to be able to give contracts to his buddies. He wanted to be able to snuff out his opponents or throw them off the stage. He wanted to be able to walk into the Cubs stadium and have the whole crowd shout with cult-like dedication, "Big Al, Big Al, Big Al." And that's what Hillary wants. That's Hillary's goal for herself. And this is not I think what we want in America. I grew up in India. It's a country run by gangs, Slumdog Millionaire style. I came to America for something different. It'll be so disheartening for me as an immigrant to see that third world kind of gangsterism come here to America.
Well, I know this. You can't go to Italy or India or China or Russia and be an outsider and end up heading a federal department and a speechwriter and a guy that, speaks to tens of millions of people and is so respected. I mean, I know you love America. I mean, America's not perfect, but boy, isn't it the best place out there to be able to really advance somebody who's got the talent like you, who deserves to be successful, who can enrich society like you've done, Dinesh?
The choice in America is between two things. There are ladders of opportunity, and that's the Republican Party. And the ladder is good because you can climb up the ladder, and how far you get depends on luck, and it depends on your own efforts. The Democratic alternative is that they don't believe in ladders. They believe that they're sitting on top of the roof, and they're putting a rope down, and they're asking you to hang on to the rope, and they will pull you up. And what people don't realize, they think, oh, well, the ladders work, the rope is easy, I'll take the rope. But you don't realize they don't intend you to pull you up all the way. They want to pull you up somewhat and then hold. Because that way they have you where they want you. They have you in a position of enforced dependence. You can't go anywhere.
Are they not creating a new caste system, a class system?
They have a caste system with themselves at the top, and they're the only ones that come out ahead. Look at the people who live on the liberal plantation. They never get ahead.
The film, the book. The book's obviously important. People can get that at Amazon.com or at Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com. You can find out, put your zip code in where it's showing. But now it's showing pretty much everywhere. I think it's in like 10 theaters in Austin. Again, a lot of my family went last weekend. They were amazed by it. My mother, again, didn't like Hillary and the Democrats, but she sure didn't like, the Bushes either. But I tell you, she is just sick. She can't even look at Hillary now.
The beauty of a movie, it's $10. This is a way to use your influence to put fuel in our rocket. If you've seen the movie, you love it, go see it again. Take students, buy them tickets, get them to the movie theater.
It's a referendum against them trying to censor everybody and throw us in jail.
Movies are a powerful weapon. You can watch a film in 90 minutes and come out of it at the end of it a little different on the inside. I think if we could show this film to independents and blacks and minorities, it would discombobulate them. It would traumatize
I agree.
them.
Final segment, Dinesh, and then calls, folks, and then our next guest, Tucker Carlson. We're back in 3 minutes with Dinesh D'Souza. Folks, you have to admit you've been conned, though. Okay, it's like a Nigerian email scam. You've got to admit you've been conned. Dinesh D'Souza with us for 6 more minutes, then your phone calls, I promise. Appreciate folks holding. I don't have a stake in Dinesh D'Souza's film. That other filmmakers come to me and offer me money to promote their films. And if I see the film and think it's good, I'll just say, hey, I'm going to promote it. I don't need any money. Of course, D'Souza hasn't offered that. The point is that this is a platform to get stuff out they don't want you to see. I'm willing to give my life to defeat the tyrants. So obviously, I want to promote something that is so powerful and is so informative that it's transformative. But by extension, you need to get the Hillary for Prison shirts at InfoWarsStore.com. You need to buy the nutraceuticals. You need to get the water filters, the products, all this. If you're not filtering your children's water with a real filter that cuts out the garbage, not just bad taste, shame on you. And I'm not trying to shame you so you buy my product. It's just you're crazy with the garbage that's in our water. The runoff, all of it. So when you buy our products, that's what makes all this possible. Thousands of great products, many times the lowest prices you're going to find, but regardless, it helps fund our operation. You can also make a donation today. I haven't really pushed that. But if you want to make a straight donation, InfoWarsStore.com. That'll help us be able to budget that we can get a few more reporters, camera people, and folks into the new year. I kind of use this fundraiser once a year, mega sale fundraiser, to be able to budget, hey, I can get a few new people or fill in some holes or some gaps or get new equipment or build a new studio or how much money we've got for trips. We need to raise a lot of money. I can tell you right now that the average talk show host on almost 200 stations like I am, with top ratings in many cities now on 50,000-watt stations, we've broken through. I'd have a private jet and some 20-room mansion. I can't keep my 4-bedroom house clean. So I don't want a private jet and a mansion. I built this with the money. Other talk show hosts could have done this. They build mansions. And so that's why we need the funds to really even do more. Because the money, I'm a free market guy all the way. I want money to be secure, take care of my family, have good medical care, have a car that runs well, have decent clothes. But I don't worship it. Globals put a gun to my head and say, join us, we're going to kill you. I say, pull the trigger, punk, because all I've got is my integrity. And I know Dinesh D'Souza has his integrity as well. So buy our products, InfoWarsStore.com. We got 3 minutes left, Dinesh. Thanks for coming on. It's great to have you more often than just once or twice a year. I hope you'll join us a lot. In 3 minutes, what other great, because it is great knowledge and experience, can you impart to the audience about the critical crossroads we've now reached?
Yeah, I think one of the
And Dinesh's internet is breaking up. That's why I wasn't going to him earlier. I saw it was breaking up. I was trying to give it time to reconnect.
Once you force them to admit all their crimes, all the horrible stuff the Democratic Party has done, from Indian removal, segregation, slavery, all the way down the line, they go, okay, yes, we admit it, but we changed. The Democrats saw the light, and all the racists became Republicans. And so this is an effort to put the blame on Republicans and also on the South and on America. America did these things. Now, there was, in fact, no big switch. The whole case hinges on one guy, Strom Thurmond, a Dixiecrat Democrat who became a Republican. But if you make a list of the hundreds of racist Democrats, they never switched. Think of a guy like Robert Byrd, who was in the Ku Klux Klan, remained a hero in the Democratic Party. All the grand dragons of the Ku Klux Klan, going down through decades and even centuries, they all remained Democrats. So this notion of a big switch is a fraud that is perpetrated by the progressives to shift blame from themselves.
That's right. And the film, Hillary's America, themovie.com, Hillary's America. It's our duty to see this film. It is #1 now in the top 10 ever. Let's make it #1. Congratulations, Dinesh D'Souza. Go with God. We're proud of you. It's good to have you fighting for Team Humanity.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with your phone calls. T-minus 70 seconds. I'm Alex Jones. All right, Carlson's on for 30 minutes, and then I'll take calls. I'm going to your calls right now. Kent, and then Raymond, and Chris, and James, everybody. Robert, I'll get to you. Kent in California, thanks for holding. I get greedy and have the calls and I have a guest and then don't get to you. But most of us will just hang up on you, so I don't apologize too bad. But thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, Kent. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Alex. Big thank you to be on your show. Appreciate it. I wanted to have 2 quick points. One, the first, actually 3, but I promise the first 2 are quick. One, I wanted to say to anybody listening that the fact that you, and I'll politicize this for a second, but the fact that you and most right-wing, I would assume that's what we're going to go with here, shows take live callers means that you're ready to defend your opinions and defend what you believe in, regardless of what's going to happen. Left shows do not do this. They will never take a live call because they do not want to have their entire narrative messed up by somebody.
They're obsessed with control. I mean, if you want to free humanity, you want the animating contest. But if you don't, you want to have your own little paradigm you run.
That you're allowing calls to go on your YouTube show that anyone can view, and you're allowing anyone to come up here and say anything to you, even if I don't agree with you, that is an amazing fact just in itself. But I wanted to alert our viewers, one of the things whenever I mention you a lot is not everyone agrees, and some things that you say I don't agree with, which is fine. That's what America's about.
No, let's say it. Some of the time I'm unlistenable. I believe me, I'm my worst critic.
One of the things that the left does to discourage, and I know we don't like him as much anymore, but George Schaefer talked about this, was once you control the vocabulary, you control the argument. And whatever you bring up, any type of corruption or misdeed, what they yell at is conspiracy theory. And there are such things as those, but when you...
And they don't want the little people discussing the turkey coup, so they call discussing and a conspiracy theory.
absolutely. You had Tim Kennedy go on, I believe it was 2 weeks before, and he said, look, I can't tell you when, but America is here. It's prime for attack. There's a lot of rage. Just beware. And then literally within, a 3-week span, 3 attacks happen, all within Tim Kennedy's description. And then you're like, well, that's